So I was wondering, has anyone actually enjoyed playing that one Kong Skull Island game where you constantly have to battle through mediocre fights and graphics that look like a pre-pubescent teen has whipped up? I swear to God, this is just like the AAA game Concord, in which they literally took the face off Overwatch, put it in a blender, and proceeded to tarnish the ever-living soul out of it to produce this pile of crap. I'm so glad Sony decided to take this off the stores, because $60 for this hellfest? You could give me 3 hours and I could come up with all the reasons why this flopped. You know what I'd rather scroll through? Copious amounts of brain rot and Instagram reels referencing Skibidi and the Jonkler, and that one meme where you have to affirm yes to the most diabolical sentence known to mankind. So I'm very glad that I got rid of all this. Quit paying quite literally hundreds of dollars for the same old rebranded garbage made from big game companies. But after all this commotion with bad, diabolical and horrendous games, I thought I better start looking for new ones to play. And it wasn't going well for me at the time. All the games I was finding in the recommended section on Steam were just not appealing to me at all. Half of them were simulators, but I got past all this and found this little gem. Lord of the Rings Gollum. But boy was I disappointed. Holy Moses, that game couldn't have been worse. Wow. But anyway, that just made my day a lot harder, because I still have not found a game that I could spend hours upon hours of playing. So I once again moseyed onto Steam and found this, the Holy Grail, something that has finally sparked my interest. This is already better than the other run though. Shit, never mind. I was wrong. I just want to start off by saying that when I first got into the game, it took me about 2 hours to find the first teleporter. I literally thought I was going insane, and I had to summon myself into the pits of this. Yes, a Reddit game chat room. I know, how unfortunate. But after this little predicament, I could finally see that I had stumbled upon a jackpot. Now, Risk of Rain 2 came out in 2019, and to be honest, I have never heard of it until like 10 months ago, when it started rising in popularity. And to be fair, I probably was never going to play it, but I just had other bigger games to play. But after the whole schmozzle surrounding the crappy games that have been releasing, I'm so glad I had found it. Now, the game is basically a 3D roguelike where you play through different stages upon where you find a teleporter to summon a boss, which you then fight along with other enemies, which all in the end gives you well-earned cash, which then you can spend. So basically, you're gambling. But it's good gambling, right? Right? Well, the money you get from slaying enemies can be put to good use, like opening chests and buying items. So yes, good gambling. As you progress, and the time taken in the world gets longer, the difficulty also increases. And then you find gear and items to make you stronger, and then you ultimately fight a boss. But funny thing is, if you die to an enemy or boss, you start over. Yes, that's right, completely from the start. But this does allow you to change your character if you think it would be better for you than your last one. Or maybe you just suck at the game. But no, don't look away, I'm talking to you. Anyway, this game overall was a step in the right direction for my downtime after I finished scrolling through brain rot Instagram reels. However, what got me so hooked? I don't usually play these types of games. Yes, I have played Stardew Valley in the past, but that's different. And yes, I did try to play Hades a while back, but never really got into it. Well, let's just say it was either I continue to battle it out on Risk of Rain 2, or I go back to playing Call of Duty or Overwatch 2. And yeah, that is not happening anytime soon. But on the surface, you could say that Risk of Rain 2 is just another third-person shooter with the same ideas. No, it's not. Shut up. There's a lot more to it. There's a lot more beneath the surface of this game that had me hooked from the moment I started playing it. So who are you? What you are is a survivor looking for your crew that landed on this planet before you did. But it's just the same thing over and over again. No, with each death, or each step you take, it changes. Not just from the time going up or the increased difficulty, which has me wanting to finish this level in just the green part to make life better for me. There's a lot of different myriads of weapons that can be dropped, from white being the most common to red being legendary. When I tell you, after battling around 5,000 enemies, it was so relieving to see a legendary item dropped. I could almost make out with it. Anyway, from the art style to the gunplay and the variety of weapons and items, you will never be at a loss of something to do in the game. Keep in mind that when I first heard the soundtrack while fighting the enemies that looked like a child, I was moving my hips to the beat. It has one of the most magical soundtracks I have ever heard from a game. I swear to God, this game has to be the most fluid I have ever played. No save points, no checkpoints, nothing. If you die, you die. There's no loading screens. Upon opening the game, it takes about 5 seconds to press continue and you're in. The game just keeps on rolling and rolling, much like a clock. The only time it stops is when your computer is so dull and old that it can't run any game over 1GB of RAM, causing it to crash upon startup. But then again, it can play Risk of Rain 2. It's not a hardware demanding game, which is where I think all these massive game companies go wrong. We aren't all rich, we all don't have NASA computers. I admire the graphical enhancements, but I don't need to see literally every pixel on a video game Apple if it requires me to have 48GB of RAM available. Now you're probably wondering, oh damn, I bet the starter character has so many weapons. No, he does not. He has a couple of guns and some abilities, but hence the introduction of items. Yes, we can make this seemingly boring dude stacked up with riches and wealth beyond the pale of existence. Ah yes, the upside of gambling. This game has no limits. You can proceed to jump off the map for no apparent reason. Yes, you'll take a bit of damage, but who cares? If you want to get rid of all the items you've collected, then yes, you can do that too. If you want to uninstall the game to download the new Lord of the Rings Golem, yeah, okay, so we won't be doing that, but you know, you get it. But to bring all this down into one point, the game has endless possibilities. So what's up with the lore behind Risk of Rain 2? I bet it's not as good as Star Wars Outlaws lore. Yeah, well, yes it is. The lore within Risk of Rain 2 is pretty much what every other game should desire to be. If you don't trust me, search up the game lore and be greeted with a slap in the face and a disappointing sound effect because you didn't trust me. The game is doused in lore, from head to toe, from the monsters to the characters. If you want to know why some of the monsters are there or who the Providence really is, if you want to know why the monsters look so damn freaking weird, like this little guy, then you can. You can immerse yourself within the game lore for hours and hours on end. So what to say? What to say about this game? Well, I think I've already said it, to be honest. It's basically a AAA game. It does what other AAA games can't. And to think the devs made this with less money, less time, and less people, then I applaud the people who made this game. You deserve 5,000 Lunar coins. Here you go, spend it wisely.